Are you taking this off?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I had my eyes dilated this morning, so if I'm blinking a lot, it's.
Ron, as far as where things stand right now with this team in terms of the deadline and your philosophy, what is the approach as of this moment?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, the way the season has gone, we're not going to make the playoffs. So I think at this point, you look at your team and there's pieces you want to keep that you believe are core pieces. And then if teams are calling on other pieces, you have to have those discussions and see what the offers are. And if there's a move that makes sense, then you go ahead and do that.
You talked about like trying to find that core before. Like, where are you in the organization at in terms of identifying that core? And is it one of those things with those core players? It would take something substantial for you to part with them, or is it, hey, they're not moving regardless, and we know the guys would be comfortable moving on from, or how does that work?
No, I think you have to be open for anybody, but I think you identify the guys that you want to kind of be a part of your core moving forward, and it's going to take a significant piece to change that direction. So, but that's, I think, with any team, you look at your team. Everybody uses. Gretzky can get traded. Anybody can get traded. So, I think that's something you're constantly looking at, and if something there makes sense that makes your organization better, short term and long term, you have to consider all options.
When you're looking at offers or fielding offers, are you more interested in draft capital coming back or prospects, or does it matter?
No, it really depends on what the pick is and what the prospect is. But certainly, most deals at this time, that's what teams are looking to do. It's move one or the other. So, depends on which team it is, which pick it is, which prospect it is. But those are the things we're looking to add. Doing two things, right? As you're building the team that's playing every night, by moving pieces and stuff, it even frees up more cap space for us to go into the free agent market in the summertime and look for pieces to add to our lineup. Or if we acquire picks or prospects, then that's something that maybe we use to try and work a trade in the off season as well. So, on the flip side, we started last year with our draft class. Those guys are tracking really well. So we're excited about where they are moving forward, but that takes some time until those pieces can kind of mold in. So in the meantime, you try and build with the players you have and free agents and moves in the summer if you can. As a little side note, I don't think we've released it yet, but we did sign Ty Cartier, who was here in our training camp. A young kid came in as an unrestricted. He was a UFA with Sioux Greyhounds. So we ended up signing him today on a 3-year contract. So he's having a good year down there. 30-plus goals for the Greyhounds this season. So.
And as far as your own free agents that you have, is that a conversation that waits till after the trade deadline, so you know kind of who's still on the roster and who's still not sure you've dealt with?
Yeah, I think it goes both ways. Some of those you have during the season. Some of those you have, especially leading up to the trade deadline. And some of those you wait and have after the season. It really depends on the situations. I mean, RFAs are a little bit easier because you own their rights. UFAs, a lot of teams make the decision prior to the deadline of what it's going to cost and whether they can keep them or have to move them at that point.
Having sat with some of the guys already, there's talk that they want to be a part of this long term. They want to help build a winner and make that next step into the postseason. How long do you really have to evaluate and assess to know who's the most important part of that core and they are part of that piece?
Yeah, no, I think we've made that assessment at this point, and we've got a plan here moving forward as to what we would do leading into the trade deadline and postseason. I think it's. I mean, that's always good to hear that the guys. I mean, this season has not been easy for the players. It's not been easy for the coaches. It hasn't been easy for our fans. It hasn't been easy for anybody. It's been a tough year. Anything I say is going to sound like an excuse, so I'd rather not get into reasons why. But these guys have continued to work and battle hard each and every night, and you see that, and that's something that certainly I appreciate, and hopefully the fans appreciate the effort that they're still putting forward. And it's not easy to go through what they've gone through this season and continue to battle and work. But that's. You get guys that you try and draft that have character, and you get into these tough situations, and you hope they respond that way. And that's, you try and build off of that moving forward. So to hear there's guys that, enjoy playing here, enjoy the city, enjoy being, in this market is exciting for us, and makes it easier for us to build around those guys. I really wish that COVID wasn't so prevalent this year, that our guys could have gone out in the community. I think, that's a key part of building our brand and letting people understand our team and our players, because we think we've got some terrific individuals, and hopefully this is behind us next year and we can get guys out into the community as part of it, and continue to build and get better each and every day next season.
Sorry, Ron, kind of saying with that, like, one of the advantages you guys have is you have a little bit more than $7 million cap space. Is that something you're interested in possibly trying to weaponize as being a third-party broker, something we saw teams do last year, or what is the thought process around that?
Absolutely, yeah. No, we have the cap space, and our owners are willing to spend the money. So you've made that well known to all the GMs, that if they need a third-party broker, or if there's a deal, a contract they need to move that makes sense, that we're open for business in that angle as well. And our owners have said from day one, I mean, we have the green light to spend to the cap. So as we get into the free agent market this summer, I mean, there's always the risk that you don't get the guy you want, or somebody else wants to play for some other reason, whether he's from that market originally or something else. But our plan is certainly to be aggressive again in free agency this summer.
I know you talked to Gio about stuff, but just curious, in terms of other players, like, what's the conversation been there? And also, are you looking to maybe try and move money? Because, like, yes, you got $27 million in cap space going into this offseason, but is there a thought to try to move more money off the books with the idea that you could increase that pot and be as aggressive as you want in free agency?
Yeah, so two-part question. One, I've said I've had the conversation with Gio. I haven't really had conversations with other players at this point. That may change as we get closer to the deadline, but at this point I haven't. And then, moving forward, it depends on what teams are looking for and stuff. I think you're always up for making deals if it makes your teams better. But I'm not sitting here saying I got to dump money. We feel comfortable that we have the cap space and the money available to make decisions this summer that will help rectify this sooner.
Sorry, couple quick things. Culture, where you feel it's at, given the difficulty of this season. I know you have one more question.
Yeah, no, I mean this is not an easy season. It's tough to have an expansion to begin with, and you throw in everything that happened early in the season with COVID and so on and so forth. I mean, we have, again, it's going to sound like excuses, but the lineup we thought we'd play with this year, we played with for just over 2 periods, and that's not going to change with TANF being done for the year. We had to cancel team events early, which helps get our guys together. We had to cancel practices because of situations where somebody tests positive. So you didn't get the time to do certain things, and it's tough to get a group that doesn't know each other together, to learn a new system, to learn each other and feel comfortable. I thought we were really starting to show great signs of that coming together leading up to the All-Star break. We've kind of struggled since then a bit, getting back to that level where we were at, but this has not been, kind of almost a fair thing to assess and evaluate based on what's happened early in the season and this season. So, we still think their coaching staff is working hard and doing a good job, and we'll continue to back them moving forward.
Next 27 games, is there a concept that some of the younger players might get a little more ice time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. It really depends what happens over the next 3 weeks here leading into the trade deadline. But certainly the intent would be to get them up and get them some games to see what they can do at this level. They've been progressing well down there. A lot of times when you get called up here based on situations and injuries, they get limited ice time and limited roles. So if the opportunity presents itself to give them a little bit more room and give us a chance to see more of what they're capable of, I think that's important before we head into next year's training camp.
You mentioned using the off season as a way to try to make some calculated investments a couple different times. How do you try to balance that, improving the big club when you also have a new AHL club that's going to be debuting in fall, the new roster that's going to be needed?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a huge challenge, right? We're not just trying to find a few players. We're trying to field 25 plus players for Palm Springs. So part of that was what we did today in signing Ty. I mean, that's one step. We'll be looking to sign free agents, whether they're junior overage players, whether they're college players, whether they're European players. That's one way of adding it. Certainly when you get to free agency in the summertime, we'll be looking to sign guys who are free agents that have good track records of being depth guys for teams that can play in the AHL and give you games up top, or guys that are solid AHL guys that can go down and be good leaders for our young guys that are going to be in there and developing. Based on age and stuff, like last year, Riker Evans is a guy that can go there potentially, but some of our other draft picks cannot go there yet. And so it takes time to sort of get those guys into the system and developing. But certainly that's what we're looking for. Anything free agent wise there, we're going to need to sign to fill that roster. But we're also very focused on what we're doing up top here, and trying to add the right pieces. That you look at what we did this year, and we had 12 one-goal game losses. We had 8 more games that were one-goal game losses that became 2-goal game losses with an empty net goal. So we're close, right? And hopefully by adding the right pieces, whether that's up front or on the back end, we can get over that hump and have a much more successful season next year. And that's what we want to do. We want to continue to get better each and every year for our fans.
Ron, what hurdles do you see that Riker Evans have to clear to go to?
Question is today your birthday.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it is. No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
So, two-part question now. How are you going to enjoy your birthday once the workday is all done?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And hurdles for Riker Evans, a prospect of his nature, what more does he have to clear, you feel, to be NHL ready for this next season?
Yes, I mean, Riker came in last year and was a real pleasant surprise in camp. It's not every day you see a young guy kind of play with that kind of confidence and moxie, and I thought he did a real good job. He's had a great season down there this year in Regina. So, most younger guys need extra strength. So that's something you hopefully over the course of the summer he can get stronger in his game. And then it's coming in and it's just learning a little bit more about the NHL game, right? It's more structured and more disciplined, I think, up here. So kind of learning what's going to be coming at him system-wise, where the options are going to be moving the puck, having that confidence to do that. But, I mean, he's a real confident kid, skates well, moves the puck well. So he'll have every opportunity to come in here and show us what he can do in camp. If he makes the team, great. If not, then it's not the end of the world to go down to Palm Springs and play some games and develop down there.
When you look at the amateur draft coming out, you guys should have a pretty good pick again. Do you see in that top 5 some NHL-ready players that can step into year one?
Yeah, I think there's potentially guys that can step in and do that. There's always, until you get them to camp and see how it battles, it's tough. But and they have another summer to sort of put that strength on. But certainly there are guys that can do that. And that's, as tough as the year has been, the positive side is we're going to get another higher pick, right? And you look at teams, I think 16 teams in the last 4 years in the conference finals, 14 of them had 2 or more top 10 picks in their lineup. I think Tampa had 6. They won the cup back-to-back. So those guys are important to building a franchise. And as much as we want to get the NHL portion right and get the right free agency to do that, it's also critical for us to make sure we're still drafting and developing well so that as those guys come into play, that we have those pieces that can kind of step in and even push us further along.
I'm assuming you're in a best player available kind of situation when it comes to that.
Yeah. No, I mean, best players certainly what we look for. We probably have some ideas as to positionally what we prefer, but we'll keep those to ourselves for now.
The players that are on expiring contracts, a couple of them played really big roles, like Yarncroc, Johansson, guys like that. For any of them, do you see them as part of the core moving forward? Do you want to have them come back and extend their contracts?
Yeah, I mean those will be discussions, over the next 3 months. Some of it depends on what teams call and ask for or are willing to give you for them. And then other things is maybe having that discussion as to what they're thinking they're looking for moving forward. I mean, there's always the option of trading a guy and then kind of sitting and waiting and see what happens in the summertime. So there's a lot of different scenarios that play out, but certainly, those guys have come and played hard for us each night and appreciate what they're doing for us.
Ready?
How important is it for UFAs like that for you to have an idea of how likely they are to stay before the trade deadline, as opposed to losing for nothing?
I think it really depends on 2 things. One is if you're going to sign them, what that price is going to be and whether it makes sense fitting into your plan long term. And the other side is what the offers are for them out there, right? The position we're in, we have to listen to everything. And so depending on what those offers are, play into that decision as well.
Matty Beniers coming off of showing with Team USA in the Olympics. How would you assess how he did in Beijing, and have you guys had any conversations with him about his future beyond Michigan's postseason?
Yeah, no, Matty's had a terrific year. I think when he left for the Olympics, he was second in the NCAA for scoring, which is pretty impressive for a 19-year-old kid. A lot of the players in that league are, 22, 23, 24, even some 25-year-olds. So to be able to do that is exciting. got a chance to go back to the World Juniors, defend his gold medal there. Unfortunately, that tournament got shut down. And then got an opportunity when the league decided, the NHL decided not to go to the Olympics to play there. I thought he played really well. I don't know if any of you caught the last game. Unfortunately, they lost, but the last game and even in overtime, he was pretty dynamic in that game. So really exciting to see. No conversations at this point about what he's doing moving forward. Matty is with Michigan. That's where his focus is right now. They're trying to win a national championship, and we wish him all the best for him and his teammates doing that. Once that is complete, then we'll get into the discussions with he and his agents as future plans. But certainly been really pleased with what he's doing. I know he talked about Riker Evans having a terrific year as well. You know, mentioned another kid, Ryan Winterton. You know, he got injured in training camp and practice, fell into the boards. Weren't sure if we're going to have surgery or rehab. We brought him out to Seattle to see our doctors in camp. Doctors decided that it was better to rehab him. Didn't get ready to play until January 1st, then came down with COVID. Then he was ready to play again. The team came down with COVID. Then he got finally in a game, and I think he had 5 points his first game, and he's lighting it up with something like 26 points in 14 or 15 games, having a real strong season. So hopefully that'll carry over. His team looks like they're pretty strong, go deep in the playoffs, and hopefully win a Memorial Cup. Maybe that leads to an opportunity for him with the World Juniors with Team Canada. So really progressing well there. Even Ville Ottavainen, our fourth-round pick, got to make the Finland World Junior team, which is exciting for a fourth-round pick. And our other guys, Jacob Melanson, Semyon Voizovov, the goaltender in Russia, and Justin Janicki are all progressing well. So, you know, it looks like our scouts did a real good job. It's still early in the process, but so far we're pleased with all those picks and focused on making sure that we take advantage of our picks again this year in a similar fashion.
Ron, quick touch on Jared McCann. He is on his last year of his contract. How much more have you seen the growth of this game and the way that he's fit in now versus back on opening night?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen Jared play going way back to he's a former Greyhound as well. So I saw him play in the Sioux when I was doing some scouting in my previous job, but and followed him through his career. We had him at the World Championships in '19. Really like Jared as a person, and he's been a good player. This year, I think he probably feels he's getting a little more opportunity maybe than he had in the past, and more power play time. And it's he's been rewarded with that, but he's lived up to the expectations for what he's been given. So scoring a lot of goals for us. He's got a heck of a shot and playing well. We've used him in the middle, used him on the wing, so we're real pleased with him. And one way or the other, we'll get something done with him moving forward, I'm sure.
With Winterton, I find him to be a very intriguing prospect because he didn't play his draft year.
No, he didn't.
7 games. Do you think that had he played a full OHL season, he might have gone a little early, might not have been there in round 4? Yeah,
actually round 3 we got him in, but yeah, there is a good chance he would have went earlier. He didn't play all season. We got to see him play in Dallas at the U18 tournament, which is dangerous because the kid hasn't played all season. Then you watch him play in a tournament, you either say he's great or he's not so good. It's kind of dangerous doing that. But we were pleased we got him where we got him. All expectations. I mean, he's just a terrific kid and person, and I'm watching film on different things and just really pleased with the way he's playing right now. So excited about that. But again, he's a young kid. He's got to get stronger. There's things he's got to do in his game. So, but we're pleased with the progress to this point.
With Beniers, obviously no conversations yet about joining the team this season, but as far as you, do you have a way that you were leaning as far as what you think might be best for his development?
Yeah, I mean, usually with higher picks, the agent and the player wants you to, in essence, burn the year. So in theory, if at the end of his season with Michigan and if he wanted to come out, that's the deal we would most likely look to do, is to try and sign him and burn a year, which would get him into our lineup. The NCAA Frozen Four is April 7th and 9th in Boston, so it would be after that point, assuming that they're in the finals. But again, his focus right now is on winning a national championship, and we wish him all the best in that.
Would you guys prefer to burn that first year, or would you rather have him play 8 games?
Well, it's not even that. Like that's more coming out of training camp. This is by putting we'd sign him for the season and put him in the lineup. So I mean, the team would certainly prefer not to burn it, but that's part of doing business in today's world with high draft picks. So.
In the past, you've kind of talked about wanting to build the team the right way, and maybe hinted at maybe a little longer timeline to do that. You've talked today about being more aggressive in free agency, but also building for the draft. I mean, has the results of this season kind of changed your thinking as far as what the timeline is?
No, I mean, you look back at last year, we signed a lot of guys within that 72-hour windows that were free agents, and we signed some guys, once free agency opened. So you can go into free agency. You're not always going to get the guys you want, right? So I think we were aggressive last year. We didn't get everybody we wanted, but we got some good players, and certainly that's what we're going to look to do again this year. Cap space is valuable. It's not easy just to run up and spend it, and heck, we can run out and spend $87 million if we want and get into LTI issues and stuff. But you also have to manage it because you've got a Matty Beniers coming. You're going to have another higher pick coming this year, and in 2 and 3 years' time, these guys are going to have their second contracts and demand a lot of money. So there's things that factor into what you do, but certainly we know what the free agent market looks like this year. We look at the free agent market next year. Our plan is to be aggressive in it again this year and moving forward. So hopefully, there's guys that we like and they like us, and we can get deals done, and that'll help speed up the process. Go back to what I said at the start of the season. I felt we had a group that could be competitive, right? We thought our goaltending was really good. We thought our defense was good, and we thought we'd struggle to score goals. And it's been a kind of a combination. The goaltending struggled early, then it looked like it got on track, and it's been kind of up and down lately. Our defense, for the most part, has been pretty solid. And sometimes we've seen we can score goals. Other times we've seen like we struggle. So, our special teams haven't been as great maybe as we need them to be over that hump. But, I think there's still a lot of positives. I still think we have some real good core pieces. And if we can add to them and continue to develop our prospects to fit into that lineup moving forward, then I think our future is still really bright. And if you look at the history expansion teams, there's more cases like ours than like Vegas, right? Vegas, I think the day I got the GM job, I think I said that day you want to be the second GM in Seattle, not the first. And that's the reason why. It's hard to do this, and nobody's had to do it under, sort of a pandemic the last couple of years either, and build a brand new rink and build a practice facility. And now we're building a facility in Palm Springs that's going to be outstanding. So our facilities are good. Certainly appreciate the fans. The ones that come to the rink have been, very supportive in some tough times, and our guys appreciate that, and they continue to battle and work hard. And we're going to get this right as we move forward, and it's going to be a fun journey when we get there to say, hey, I was there when this happened, and now look where we are. And that's what our goal is, to improve and get better every day. All right.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.